What's up, guys? Welcome back to my YouTube channel. And so today I was debating on what I wanted to do for this Just Even Draws. You know, on my last video, I did a Pokemon team, and one I really enjoyed was a art style challenge. So I was thinking, Pokemon is an anime, art style challenge. You guys know what this is. This is, if fruit were people, what would they look like? No? Y'all want the idea? Okay, let's put that one on the back burner. I'll come back to it. And instead, I'll do a anime art style challenge where I'm just gonna draw myself in different animes. I picked a couple animes that are on the top of the iceberg that most people know, so most people know that art style. And that's pretty much all the explaining that I need. You guys know what it is. You guys are smart people. So let's just hop right into it. All right, so let's start off with a Naruto drawing. So obviously, as you know, I always start off with a sketch. So I'm staring at a reference sheet right now, and you know, that's just a heads up for just all artists. Really just utilize those reference sheets because anatomy's hard, and it's like impossible for me to do any sort of anatomy without using one because I can't do one freehand. I'm not at that level yet, and huge props to people who are, because that is not easy. So I'm getting down to the body and I'm getting towards the legs, and I was debating cutting this part out, but you know, I'm just like, you know what, let's just leave it to show everyone that I don't have a good grasp on how legs work, and they're hard. I don't know what I'm doing. Like, what is these weird gremlin stances I'm trying to draw? So anyway, I just did a straight leg thing. I'm like in a weird toddler pose, but I just fixed the feet. And, you know, I think I'm happy with this one, so I'm gonna leave it here. And so, you know, that's the basic human anatomy part I usually do. And now I'm starting to define the clothing. And, you know, of course, I have to do the iconic ninja headband. And then I'm gonna start into the facial expressions. And one thing that I think is always noticeable for me when I'm copying an anime art style is I focus on the eyes and also the ears. I think each anime has a specific way of drawing eyes and ears that I think are very interesting. So you're gonna see me go back and start to define that after I'm done with all these specific clothing ideas I do. You know, of course, the open-toed sandals and whatnot. So now I'm starting to get into the outlines where now I'm going to start getting into like defining the little bits, like again, the specific ways that the Naruto art style does ears, which is not too complex, not like some of the other animes you're going to see me do. And same for the eyes. Also, one thing that you're going to see in most animes, and I think that, you know, I think a lot of people catch on to that, especially if they do the art styles, that they all have like an eyeliner type deal, like a very dark top part of eyes that most animes do. You're going to see me do it for the other anime drawings as well. But yeah, so right now I'm just defining the little bits and pieces of the articles of clothing that I'm wearing. Nice big toes. Jesus, it looks like a meatball sub. Anyway. You're gonna see that I don't put a symbol on the headband yet because I have a specific idea in mind that you guys are gonna have to just wait around to see what I decide to put on there. So now I'm getting into the coloring. You know, I start to use a navy bluish, dark purple mix, and you see me starting to debate what color I want on the shirt, and I just ultimately decide that same color for the shirt as well that I use for the shoes and the headband, and I use like an off-whitish blue for the pants. Next, I'm just coloring in the black for my hair and my eyes. And now is my favorite part usually is honestly the shading. I know a lot of people, I hear that they don't like to shade their drawings, but honestly I find it kind of fun. It's kind of like a puzzle for me. I find it very interesting to do. So I'm just working on the not only the shadow but the shine as well, and using the specific shines for like metal and whatnot. Now that I got that shine down, I am just doing the little tiny thin lines for definition, and now that that's done, it's time for the symbol. So what did I decide? I wanted to make it personal to me, so I decided to do a specific custom Just Even logo, the J and the S, and I wanted to make my own custom village symbol, and I like to think that everyone who subscribes to me is a part of this village. So if you're watching, welcome to the Just Even village, and with that, my Naruto style. Alright, next up, we got the, of course, Dragon Ball Z. It would be dumb not to in an anime art style drawing. So for this one, I was like, you know, I'm not gonna break my back here on posture. I want to just go with the basic, like power up floating stance that they do a lot. So, you know, I'm getting down the clothing, and again, nothing too detailed. I don't feel like doing a bunch of like little bits, because you're gonna see later on as to another drawing where it's super detailed. But yeah, so I'm defining like the knuckles, the fingers, and some of the clothes that I would be wearing. And of course, I had to throw in some of those big shoulder spikes that like Vegeta wears. I think those are cool, so I did it. So anyway, facial expression wise, when it comes to this specific anime, Dragon Ball Z has very triangular eyes, you would see. So I had to make sure I do that. But not only triangular eyes, but also a rectangular mouth, like a rectangle screaming mouth. So it would have been a huge misstep not to put that in on the art style. So I'm doing the overall borders of all the drawings, and now I'm getting to that specific Dragon Ball ear. Because as you can see from the Naruto drawing, they're not the same kind of ear. I know that's like a weird thing to like focus on, but you know. Now, it's time to draw in my absolute African god rippling muscles that I do have in real life. I just don't flex a lot on the screen. So, of course, you won't see that often. And don't ask me to do it, because I will not. So, anyway, just to define the clothes folding and rippling, and Naruto, get out of here. Anyway, time to do the coloring as well. Alright, coloring in my gigantic biceps. Yeah, that seems right. Naruto, Jesus Christ, what did I say? Anyway, then I was deciding on what color I wanted to do, and I thought purple would actually be a very interesting color to do. But I was gonna leave the neck piece and shoulder spikes white to give it a little pop of color, and or a little difference in color. Oh my god, if I see that thing one more time. Drawing in the pants. And my black boots. So just throwing in some details, and then I also decided I think I wanted a yellow belt around the mid waist. And then now it's time for the details to make sure I define the, again, very real muscles that I really do have, again. And now it's time for the shading. Dragon Ball Z shading is a little bit more complex for this one, at least. Not to say that Naruto shading isn't as complex either, but for this one, as you can see, I'm much more angry, and I'm powering up. So, you know, I wanted to give it a much more serious shade. Going back to do the more defining line shades. And then, of course, I have to go and shining off my glorious muscles. And just going back, doing little details. Shining my hair, of course. And so that's gonna wrap it up for my Dragon Ball. Oh my god. What is happening? Oh wow, okay. Well, anyway, that's gonna wrap it up for this Dragon Ball Z drawing. I'm gonna be powering up for another couple episodes anyway, so let's just move on to the next one. So, moving on to My Hero Academia. Alright, so for this art style, I think it's really interesting because I feel like it's slightly differing for each character in the show. Like, I think that the way that they design characters is so unique, and I feel like you can't tell which one's the main character just from looking at them, unlike some animes. And, you know, look at the background characters. Each one of them are so different. Like, each one of them could be the main characters. I feel like that's just so interesting. But anyway, moving on. Back to the drawing. So I just think that that's what makes it so much fun to try to make a character for myself in this universe, because I feel like I have a lot of leeway here. I feel like there's so much room just to kind of, you know, get a little creative with it without it not looking like it belongs in the universe. So I started off with this little relaxed pose because that's going to be defining to the character, I kind of decided. And first off, I'm going to get back to this arm because this arm was a massive pain, and you're going to see why later. Anyway, yeah, let me shake my head because I made it way too big. But, you know, I wanted to make a really relaxed character because I feel like me as a person, I'm a very chill. I don't think a lot of people have seen me upset. You know, I'm just a cool dude, you know? Obviously, it's abundant. So, yeah. I gave myself the mouth of the guy with the tape arms. I think I like the way that his mouth looks. I think it's funny. And so I think that I wanted to have something similar to that. So I'm getting into the drawing of the specific My Hero Academia eyes, which are kind of big, much more, I would say, like cuter eyes compared to the other ones. And they're like interestingly defined ears. And I'm drawing this like this giant dinner plate of a tie. I don't know what that thing is. Anyway. Defining my shoes, and I'm getting back to this annoying arm because something seems so off about it where I feel like it doesn't look right. But I can't really figure out what it is. So I'm just like, okay, let me just work what I can and let me just come back to it later. So I'll just color in my hair while I try to think about what to do with it. And My Hero Academia has very dark shadows, so I wanted to get those in right now. And they also use a lot of dashes to show definition when it comes to like crevices in the skin and whatnot. I also did a slightly different skin color than I did for the other two drawings because I feel like My Hero Academia's art style pops a lot. It's very vibrant, so I gave myself a much more higher contrasted brown that I would use for the other ones. Going to color this god-awful arm again because it is just driving me crazy and I can't figure out what it is. And I'm sure that other people may not see, maybe you do, but for me, I just feel like something's off. But again, I'm taking a breather, drawing in my bib of a tie. Okay, and I'm gonna map it out. I'm about to do a quick little arm dislocation surgery and fix this because I don't know what's going on. Let's see. Okay, there it is. That looks a little bit more natural to me. I'm happy with how that one turned out, so okay, I'm moving on to the jeans. Next, I'm going to color in my big red Converses. And I made my shirt like a very, very light blue, so it still looks white, but, to get it off of the white background. Now I'm doing the shading, which there, again, since it's a much more playful character design right here, this shading, I'm not going to go into like major depth and make it look very serious and brooding. So I'll just do one quick layer of a very light shadow. Alright, so we've established my Hero Academia character. Cool. But what would my quirk be? Let's get into that. So I wanted to make it kind of realistic to my personality and who I am as a person. And one thing, as I said before, is I'm a very relaxed guy. I'm very chill. So I find it very hard to muster up a lot of rage, which I think a lot of people, especially coaches back in high school, thought I would be good at because I'm a big dude, but I'm not. So when a coach kind of convinced me to join football, it was kind of hard every game to be like, all right, Steven, let's get excited for this, even though realistically I'd rather be at home playing Minecraft. But so I thought that would be my power, is that while I'm a very relaxed character, I have to force myself to really just pump myself up to this larger form, which is like my 100%, go-to fighting form. But it's not easy, And I think that also one thing will be interesting is, unlike the Hulk, whereas he gets mad and accidentally turns into the Hulk and he goes into a rage, I'm still in my mind. I still have full control of this body, but I'm in constant state of trying to keep my adrenaline high. Because if I lose attention for a second, like if I walk past, say, like a pet shop and I look at a dog, I'm like, oh, look at that, I would lose my form immediately. Like, it's very hard to stay in this big state, So, I wanted to color it in, make it red. I wanted my character to look scary, even though mentally, again, I'm kind of a big softie, which I thought would just be an interesting thing to do. And so I wanted to call this quirk Blind Rage, because I don't really know what I'm like raging about. I remember in football practice, I would always be like, what am I doing this for? But also, I want to make it like kind of funny. So also I thought will be a downside of the quirk is that I have a very bad eyesight, and I wanted to establish that by giving my character glasses originally, but I lose my glasses when I turn into this form, because that was also a big thing, was that like, my eyesight's terrible. I wear glasses in general. I don't wear them for the YouTube videos, but every day I wear glasses. I have terrible eyesight. And so I thought that when I get into this big form, I have to rely on other senses and other people to kind of find what I'm supposed to be raging at. Which, again, as I said before, very realistic, because I always had to have my coach be like, all right, Steven, make sure you're doing this. And I'm like, I don't really know what I'm doing here. How did I even get here on the field? But hey, I'll follow your orders. So that's kind of like what I thought My Hero Academia quirk would be, is that, I get into this fiery, cool stance and I look like this big baddie, but at the same time, I'm just like, all right, sure. Oh my God, let me color my eyes. I look stoned. Anyway, so adding in this dramatic lighting that I didn't add on the first character really adds like a bigger contrast to see that, okay, my original self is much more cooler and chill, whereas this one is just like a hulking mass of just like destruction. But, deep down, everyone knows what I actually am. So, adding that dramatic shading and lighting, a little bit of details, and with that, that's going to wrap up my hero character. And that's going to do it for My Hero Academia art style. And last but not least, we had to do Attack on Titan. I've been just binging so much of it recently. I've been trying to make sure I catch up before what I think is the finale coming up soon. So I've been just watching it all on Hulu. I had to throw it in this video. And one other thing I had to do the iconic pose. Just hand on my heart, soldier salute. So now I get kind of the basic anatomy down. I'm going to start defining the clothes with their short jacket and their high collars. And I gave myself the little Aaron tied up shirt thing. I don't even know how to describe that. Whatever. I throw in my pockets, and I left the emblem empty because, kind of like the Naruto headband, I'll let you guys know what branch I'm in at the very end of the drawing. I'll save that one for a surprise. But what's not a surprise is these high boots and ridiculous amount of belt straps I have to draw in, because I mean, I get it, they have to strap on the 3D maneuvering devices, but I didn't draw that because I had to draw enough belts. I'm not doing that too. Anyway, time to get into the eyes and the facial expressions, and let me tell you about the Attack on Titan art style. I think it's one of my favorites out of all of them, especially specifically season 1, because one of the most defining things about the anime, like right off the bat, is I really loved how they did the eyes. You know, I'm starting to outline them now, but you'll see later the specific coloring I do, because I think they're very just intense eyes that kind of pierce into the viewers. So again, we'll get back to that. And another thing is the very broad outline that the art style has, and I think that you will definitely notice that if you look back at the season 1 of Attack on Titan, they have very broad, dark outlines, whereas all the other ones, outlines in the middle, are very thinner and finer. So I wanted to make sure I emulate that in this drawing as well to make it much more real. You know, again, I'm starting to play with the eyes and the facial features. This drawing was definitely the hardest because it just had so many smaller pieces in it. The uniform itself is just so complex, and I feel like there's so many like wrinkles and folds and so many belts and straps. I'm just like, oh my god, this took forever. Alright. Coloring in my hair. As you can see, it's not an absolute dark black. I kind of made it a very Naruto, oh my god. You little attention pig. Anyway, I used colors that are very muted, very kind of blandish, because I think it's a bland world that Attack on Titan lives in. Obviously, I think the art style very much shows it. How a lot of things are very gray and sad because the show is so depressing. Like I said, I've been binging it, but also sometimes I take a breather because I'm like, God, this is sad. So anyway, I'm coloring in the brown jacket, again leaving the emblem empty, going over the details, and the longest part easily for this drawing was coloring in all these freaking straps, like just the belts, the buckles, just everything. And again, you'll see why I just did not draw the 3D maneuvering devices. I just didn't feel like it at a certain point. I was like, that's enough. It's fine. People get it. And also, I found myself kind of kicking myself halfway through because I was like, why didn't I just draw myself wearing the big green poncho cloaks that they wear when they go out into the forest? That would very much make my life easier. I wouldn't have to draw all this. But I like to say that I didn't want to take the easy way out, and I wanted to show you guys, you know, the interesting process of the intricate outfit and blah blah blah. That's a lie. I only thought about it halfway through, and I said easily, if I would have thought that right in the beginning, I would have done it. So whatever. Now I'm committed. I'm not gonna draw over what I did already. That would be just a bunch of wasted work. Now I'm heated. Anyway, moving on. You know, I'm coloring in the buckles now that I'm done with these belts, and giving off the off-white, like eggshell cream color, whatnot, for all the other articles of clothing. Coloring in my hair, and going over the details of all the wrinkles and defining pieces of the clothing. Starting to color in my lips. You see I started using like a pink, but then I just took that out and I just gave myself the overall darker upper lip. And now I'm getting into the shading. And now shading, by far I wanted to make sure that the Attack on Titan piece was the most intensely shaded, because I feel like it's one of the most serious ones out of all the animes I did. Oh, well, I didn't really... I know Naruto could get very serious. I haven't really watched it fully. I used to watch it bits and pieces because my cousin used to watch it all the time. But Attack on Titan I've easily seen much more of. But nonetheless, though, I think that Naruto has a much lighter tone. I think there's a lot more jokes in Naruto than there is on Attack on Titan. Like, how often do you see anybody laugh on Attack on Titan? You know, I don't think it's that funny. It's just sad, as I said before. So I'm going over and I'm doing 2 to 3 layers of shading because that's why I wanted to make it so intense and brooding. Alright, wrapping up the shading here. Now I'm going over with the shine, of course, as you always have to do after the shading. And now I slowed down the video for this part specifically because I really wanted to focus on how much I enjoy like the eye part, because I think that that's the part that really caught my eye when I first started watching the series. It's just how intense the eyes were. So now for the moment of truth, what branch would I be? It's the garrison. I'm the branch that stays in the wall because I'm a coward and there's no way I could possibly fight those titans like that. No, I don't have Aaron's powers. But what if I did though? So I decided, what if I just threw in some of Aaron's eye things, like the eye scars that he gets when he comes out of the Titan form. I thought that'd just be cool looking. Well, that's a plot twist, right? Even if I had those powers, I would indeed still stay in the wall because that's too much, man. And that's gonna do it for my Attack on Titan. Okay. Really? And if you guys want to see my Titan form, I actually did a jokey little webcomic on my Instagram page. I'll put it up on the screen here. And speaking of my Instagram page, if you guys really enjoy my art, you guys should really go check it out. I have much more pieces that I've put up there. Same for my Twitter account, I post the same stuff there. So think about giving it a follow. Throw a couple likes in there. And that's pretty much it for this video. And just like my Instagram page, how about you like this video too? And you can throw a subscribe in there too. I mean, I'm not picky, but if you want to, feel free. So anyway, guys, that's it. I hope you guys have a great rest of your day, and I will see you all in my next video.